Go on, where am I going? I'm long gone to the Yukon. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Yukon River. I'm only about, maybe 200 kilometers north of the source, no, even less, I think, of the source of the river, the mighty, mighty Yukon. This, of course, is the Whitehorse Dam out here. So Whitehorse is capital of Yukon, and it is just a fabulous place. But it's named for what used to be rapids, now it's all dammed, but rapids that look like the mane of a white horse running. So that's the origin of the name. But here we are, way up, well, in far southern Yukon, out here at the magnificent Yukon River, and up above the longest wooden fish ladder in the whole wide world. So that's pretty cool, I have to admit. So I'll give you a sense of where we are. Hey there! Welcome to the beautiful north. If I ever sound like I'm excited to be here, it's because I'm always, always, always excited to be here. Hi there. Hi, everyone. Oh, so for my friends, there's my friend Sue, who's up in York, which is northern England. I am at just shy of 61 degrees north here. So not north of the Arctic Circle. Bit of a giveaway are all the trees around. And it's early September, so happy September, ladies and gentlemen. So Whitehorse is about 30,000 people, and Yukon as a territory is about 45,000 people. So we didn't land until after midnight. Went out looking for the Northern Lights last night, did not see them. But the Northern Lights have seen strange sights, but the strangest they ever did see was the night of the Marge of Lake LaBarge when I cremated Sam McGee. But all that said, gonna have a nap this afternoon to go out this evening because there's an alert on the lights. Then tomorrow going way up into the high Arctic, and I mean high Arctic, and there's an alert for tomorrow night for lights. But this is the longest wooden fish ladder in the world. But this map gives you a little sense. So about 10,000 years ago, the ice melted away and it opened up this Yukon River, which drains out into the Bering Sea, right? So there's Diomede Islands out there, and then Russia's just over here, of course. If you live in Anchorage, apparently you can see Russia from your backyard. Maybe you'll remember that. That was Sarah Palin. Anyway, Yukon is got a very, very high... Bonjour, on est bilingue ici aussi. Yukon has a very high level of education. Here's Whitehorse. So down here, Bennett Lake, basically Skagway, Alaska is right there. That's where they would climb up. And then they built all these rafts and tried to go up to Dawson City. That's where you had the gold rush. So that's why Whitehorse is founded in 1898. But the salmon swim in here. Do you know this river is 3,100 kilometers? We'll say 3,200 here, almost 2,000 miles long. That's their journey to come all the way back. And this fish ladder, now, they have a 7-year fishing ban on right now. There's just a lovely, lovely young lady working downstairs at the visitor center here and just loves it. And she lives half her year up here, the winter's actually studying, and also lives down in Salmon Arm, which is in British Columbia, where you get those massive salmon runs as well. But this is all a huge glacial valley. The river is flowing north, right? So you go north to Alaska, which is one of the funny jokes because from here, you drive south to Alaska. So that's where we are in the world. But this is just talking about Les Closeries, or the hatchery. So pretty neat to see. Thank you very much, Paula. I promise to dedicate any donations to eating fish, or probably beer too. Although going to Old Crow tomorrow, which is a dry community, which is probably a good thing. But look, this is where we can find those. So the bull trout are what we find in the rivers at home. And then lake trout, of course, yum, yum, yum. But Arctic char, and there were some grayling actually down in the ladder at the moment. Didn't see any salmon, but the salmon recovery is starting to come along. So this ban is a wonderful thing. And here's Chinook salmon right there. So now the Chinook, I think down in the States, I think the Chinook is what they call a king salmon. But it's interesting, if it has the little dorsal fin there, that means it's wild. If it doesn't, it was raised in captivity. Very interesting giveaway. So, yeah, it's fascinating. By the way, how north we are, if you just look, even though they're low mountains, you'll see the tree line is quite low. They do have Mount Suma, I think it's called. They actually have a ski hill down there. Straight south, you'll see some mountains way out in the distance. The down there, they get bigger, and that becomes the border with Alaska, well, actually British Columbia, and then Alaska down to the south. So even though we're not terribly far, like a couple of 100 kilometers from the ocean, it's more of a temperate climate in here because the mountains are so high that it separates us from that whole system. But what we're looking at around here, oh, there's a bear in area over there. There's a caution sign. See the yellow sign on the tree? Yeah, those are aspen trees. The trees are all changing color because, you know, June, July, winter. But, you know, it's no colder here than it is at home for me. That's because I'm at a lower elevation here. Only at about 500 meters or 600 meters, whereas at home, of course, I live at 1,500. By the way, just for the fun of it, Yukon license plates have got a prospector on them. See that? And then there's a license plate from Northwest Territories over there with a polar bear on it. So this, as I say, I'll probably be carried out of Banff by my feet first. But if I were to leave, I would come and live up here. And there's a lot to be said for it. But let's come over here. And now, I mean, I can't help myself. But what did the fish say when it swam into a wall? Ah, damn. I know, it's a fish joke I've told so many times. But we're going to be doing lots of fun little videos here because I am obviously giving a tour, and it's a great way to remember all the different places we visit. But have a look at this massive fish ladder through here to get up and over this dam. So this dam's built back, it says, yeah, 1958, but I know they dammed here, they dammed here much earlier than that. They're getting a good count on fish this year, and all the public art. Yukoners are very aware of their environment. Very, very, like I say, very high level of education here. When you live and work up here, you also earn Northern Allowance, which means you get a sort of a bonus pay for living in remote areas. But really, this isn't that remote. And the road, it's up on the hill, the airport, in fact, there's a helicopter taking off way in the distance, but the road up there is actually the Alaska Highway. So, until the Alaska Highway was built, in fact, I should put a tag in. There's a page I follow on YouTube called Canadiana. I donate money to them every time they come up with a new video. But it's just fantastic. And they've got a whole piece about the building of the Alaska Highway, which was the US military, of course, using segregated labor. Wasn't that just amazing to... Yeah, but then the Canadian government paid it off. That is a government vehicle of some sort over here. What are you doing? That's the Whitehorse. Oh, bylaw services, I see. But we go down. I love this, by the way, because this can get frosty. There's no running. See, but the fish are running. But I like that rule. But yeah, the Alaska Highway, of course, is what connects, of course, the lower 48. Until that point, you used to go up to Skagway and then get on the White Pass and Yukon Rail. I'll try maybe even later today or something, go do a video from the train station. Tomorrow morning, we're getting up early and we're driving south to Carcross and we're going to the desert. And it is so much fun. It's the smallest desert in the world, they say, but it's a really fun thing. It is formed by katabatic winds, those winds that are caused by glaciation. And so it just causes an area not to grow. In fact, the driest places on planet Earth, what continent? Here's a quiz question. Where's the driest places on planet Earth? Anyone have a guess? Because everyone thinks, let me show you a really cool thing on these trees here. See this, Mark? You rub it. That one's quite light still, but that is SPF 10. So that's how you have sunscreen. So we all think of the Atacama Desert, northern Chile, as being the driest place in the world. However, the actual driest place is in Antarctica. So thank you, Sue. That's very kind of you. Okay, good night. It's so nice. Look at this. Tanquachan people. So this is from the Tachoni language right here. So following a seasonal way of life, fishing was quite important to the Tanquachan and Tanman Lake Laberge. Lake Laberge is where, of course, where the sole story of Sam McGee comes from. But that is how they would have caught the fish, and then they would have dried them, of course, which is fantastic. Smoked salmon. I wonder if they are actually harvesting at the moment. I say there's a fishing ban. If there's a full territorial ban, then I expect that the First Nations would have agreed to it. So salmon begin their development as eggs, which are deposited in red's nests located in the gravel of the creeks and rivers. Le salmon se reproduit en pendant des œufs déposés. I won't do the whole bilingual, but in the late fall or early winter, the eggs hatch. The young are called alvins. I always would have called them fry. So you see the story of fish. There's something fishy about this. Oh, there it goes. When the yolk sac is empty and absorbed by the body, the small salmon, now known as fry, become free swimming and must hunt. It is so fun to see them when they're coming out. Now, I know Paula's on board here. You did the Alaska cruise. If this time of year, no, it's more spring, you would see them in Ketchikan, Alaska going out, and it looks like it's raining up. They're so vigorous, you know, millions of them. Thank you, Nat. Well, thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for all your contributions. I promise to spend it frivolously and, well, donate some of it. And we're going to go way, way, way up to northern communities. Yukon Chinooks spend 2 to 5 years living in the Bering Sea as they mature into adults. Now, the Bering Sea, again, is where you look over to Alaska. That's where, if you watch all those gold mining shows up from Nome, Alaska, oh, you're lovely people, everyone. So I'll be doing loads of these little videos as we go along. So we're going to have a whole journey. And then I could do more when I come back every year and live here. Salmon know no borders. Now this is such a cool thing to see, actually. So these are, in fact, I'm going to come a little closer to this just to show everyone, because this is so cool. Because even though there's tariffs, the salmon don't care. So as you come in these systems, all right, Sheldon Point, Alakanuk. So these are really cool towns that are along there. On that coast out there, I believe those are Inuit people. See where it says Fort Yukon up top? So that's on the Yukon River. And then the Porcupine River goes up, and there's Old Crow. We will be stopping in Old Crow tomorrow on the flight. That is the most northern indigenous community in the world that is not Inuit. They are Gwich'in Dene, the same people that you meet down in Dawson City. It's also the only town up here. It's the only town in Yukon that does not have a road access. The Sioux saying I'm not allowed to leave Banff. And there's a very fair comment in that too. Another airplane, you've got this incredible statistic of people. I have to Google it before I promise to say, but I know it used to say 1 in 50 people had a pilot's license or something. So this, all of these fish that have probably been made by the kids in the school. But of course, it's a great fish culture. And this great river really defines the whole territory. And as the glaciers receded, they scoured the top of the mountains, so much so that exposed the gold. And it was George Mercer Dawson, who had a scoliosis from tuberculosis when he was 11 years old. So he scoliosis in his back, yet he traveled all the way north, mapped the area out, and said there will be a gold strike on a tributary of the Yukon River. So you cannot talk about the north without talking about gold. But all that noted, it's a huge diverse environment and just a wonderful place. So that's just a little teaser of where we are at the moment. So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say peace and love. Keep your eyes peeled. We'll put up lots of fun little videos. And just do one quick wave. Yay! All right, everyone. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.